Here come your Rockets!
Gaige Markham, sophomore, LB for Dunley.
I'm Dominic Walters, freshman, LLDL, Francis.
Keegan Pearson, junior, right tackle, defensive end, Marion.
Eli LaValle, freshman, invert receiver, Sturgis, Kentucky.
Welcome, my name is Dylan Yates, and today I'm with Coach Courtney and Coach Lewis. And as you can tell, it looks a little bit different this week. I'm not however old Chris Evans is, so he handed me the keys to his kingdom today. He went and had a vacation, so he told me to do it, and I was like, all right, well, we'll give her a go and see how it goes. But like I said, I'm Dylan Yates. I graduated in 2022, played Rocket football my whole time there. Actually was coached by Coach Courtney for 1 year as a head coach, and he was my defensive coordinator the rest of the time as well. And some things about Coach Courtney you may not know. I was actually digging up some old stats here to give you a good introduction. I didn't realize this. You're top 25 in receiving yards, top 20 receptions, top 30 total points scored, number 1 in 2-point conversions. So that was on the offensive side. Not a lot of people realize that as well. But also top 5 in tackles. Hall of Famer in football and basketball for Crittenden County, and then I know he played 4 years at Kentucky State University. Couldn't get any stats. They don't actually have any defensive stats. I don't think it's like all offensive. But and also we're here with Coach Lewis. We actually played against each other. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I know some of the people don't know much about you. I know we played against each other. And you said you graduated when?
2020.
2020.
So my last football season was 2019.
Okay.
I'm originally from Trigg County. My family has now moved to Paducah just about 3 or 4 years ago now. I'm a mature grad. Played against Crittenden plenty of times. Always been admired Crittenden County football, especially when Coach Starnes was coming through, and even Coach Tomp, and now Coach Courtney himself. I've admired Crittenden County football for a while now. And they've got a lot of things going for them good right now, too.
Well, we appreciate to have you on today. What do you coach? Are you just an assistant? Do you coach a specific group?
I'm a wide receiver coach and then inverts.
Gotcha. All right. Well, that's Coach Lewis. A little introduction for y'all who do not know him. We're happy to have him on the staff and happy for him to help out this year. So we're going to take it back to last Friday night. We had a great game there that fell short. We had a few turnovers, some things that happened. I know for Murray, they're 6-1 now. They're a good football team, and the final score is 37-27 Murray. But the score doesn't tell at all because we were leading at the half, actually 20-13. Just take us through that game a little bit and some of the key notes that you want to hit on.
Yeah, I think turnovers were the biggest thing to take from the game. We had some trouble on KOR, kickoff return. Just they were squibbing the ball. It seems like we get to return the ball one time per game, and usually we do a pretty good job returning it, and then they start kind of kicking it all over the field. And we just had trouble just for whatever reason, just bad bounces, the way the football bounces. The way we played it a little bit, that really set the tone and changed the momentum of the game. We were up at the half and about to get the football, and we're doing some really good things offensively, and then they hit us with the onside kick, basically, and then score right. Or no, we stop them, but we're pinned back. Then they score a little bit later, and then they hit us with another one. So we don't get the ball much at all in the third quarter. Mm-hmm. It was just kind of deflating. We fought back in the game. I was really proud of our effort in fighting back. I did think that we kind of of lost their composure a little bit in the third quarter when bad things are happening. That's kind of what we've preached on this week. Just a way to fight through it and not start pointing the finger at this guy or that guy or this team or this official. So that's been our main focus. Just when bad things happen, how we respond to it. And in the fourth quarter, I thought we kind of snapped out of that and got right back in the game. Tied it up with, I don't know, a minute or two left, and then they kick a field goal with 12 seconds left, I think, or it ended up being 10, but I think there was 12 when they snapped it, and go up 3, and then we do something crazy and end up losing by 10 points anyway. But the game was tied with 12 seconds left in the game, and a game we feel like we take care of the football that we're in control of. So we played some really good football, and then we just played some really bad football. If we can put it together for 4 quarters, we feel really good about the team. Just a few things that we got to fix, but playing our best football, we just can't have the times we're playing really bad football and turning the ball over and things like that.
I know Summers said, this is a quote from the Crittenden Press, they said after the game, if we can play a full 4 quarters, we're one of the best teams in district, if not the best. And I believe that because there's a lot of highlights from this game, and there's a lot of lowlights, like you said, like a game of up and downs. You had in total 6 turnovers, like you said, just couldn't take care of the ball. But also some highlights. There's an 80-yard touchdown pass from Summers to Cameron, 2 touchdown passes to McLean, and like I said, y'all are up 20-13 at the half. Then Summers had a 28-yard touchdown run to tie the game at 27, like we said late on, and then they had a field goal. And what was it? Was it at the end of the game a fumble that they ran back that made them go up 10? So, and that Murray's a really good team, and that's one of those games where it was a really good game. It's just in terms of turning the ball over and mistakes like that you can't have, there's too much of. What did you see from your wide receivers? There's a bunch of players on here, just look at the stats, that had a good game on paper, and it looked like they were being able to get the offense going at times when the offense was on the field and was rolling. Oh, most definitely. Right from the jump, Cameron Belcher had a really good catch and run to score, go up 7-0 early. Tyree, who's kind of been banged up at times this year, so kind of grew up a little bit. Come out there and played hard. Even Caden, of course, doing his thing like normal. Our receivers overall, they played a good game. Obviously, some things you got to fix, of course, heading into this week. But overall, they played really well. Had a couple of turnovers here and there, like later on in the game and stuff. But overall, they really did a good job statistically and did their job a lot as well. So in terms of, I know Murray's in the past, but we're doing a recap for this week because Chris wasn't able to do the post-game show after Murray. So what are some things defensively that you wanted to fix or focus on after the Murray game? What was like the biggest thing that you saw? Communication and misalignments. I felt like we were in the right spots, that we pretty well made the play. I think we had 11 missed tackles, which we want to be under 10. But 5 of them happened on one play. So I thought outside of one play, we tackled really well and did a good job just keeping them in front of us. So we just had a couple miscommunications and wrong alignments that created explosive plays for them. A team like Murray that's that good, you really got to make them earn it, man. If you give them free 70-yard bombs and stuff over the top, or the quarterback player doesn't play the quarterback in the option or something like that, and you just give them gimmies, it's tough. You got to really make them earn it because they're so good and they're going to get them anyway, even when you're making them earn it. But when you give them gimmies, it's just tough. So it comes down to communication, I think, a lot. Making sure we know the game plan inside and out. We had some guys that messing up some things, but the good news is when we're in the right spots, we're making the plays. So we got the guys that can make the plays. So it's easy, really, to get aligned, and it's just a lot of communication, and sometimes it's studying or whatever it takes to get each individual in the right spot. But when we were there, we made the plays and played really well. It was by far our best game, I thought, defensively as a whole, just miscommunications at times. So has that been the main focus this week, communications and alignments, and making sure everyone's in the right spot? Yeah, and just going over the film and look, did we align correctly? And then the answer would be yes, we'd have a positive play. Did we align correctly? No, we have a negative play. You know what I mean? So it's just trying to show them, it's important when we line up. We work all week getting into the right spots and to take away, what they do best. And when we're in those spots, we do a good job. So just kind of really holding in that we got to be perfect in the game plan. That's a really talented football team. And if you're not perfect in the game plan, controlling what we can control in that aspect, it's going to be tough for us. Yeah. Well, overall, I thought it was, a game of ups and downs, but I was proud of how they played. Like you said, how they fought back, able to tie the game with 10 seconds, or how the game was tied at 10 seconds left. So I also know they have I didn't know this until recently. They have that Nebraska commit. Was it Jeremiah Jones?
Yeah.
But that's a really good football team. You hate to see that one go away, but like you said, clean up some of the mistakes. And get a line right. I think it's going to be good to see the Rockets play a full 4 quarters. I'm just going to go over some of the stats from the game just for people who weren't able to make it, and I know some people like to hear it. So the offense had 378 total yards of offense. Summers was 258 passing yards, 20 completions, 106 rushing yards with 3 passing touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown. We had Belcher with 6 catches for 116 yards and a touchdown. Howard had 6 catches for 56 yards, and he actually just got the school record last game for catching a pass in 27 straight games. So he has the record for that, and he's actually number 2 on the all-time reception list. So congrats to him. We had McLean with 3 catches, 33 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And like we said earlier, fumbles was a big thing. We had 5 fumbles on the offensive side of the ball. So like you said, some really great stats there, but also some turnovers that take it away. Defensively, we had Belcher with 4 solos, 6 assists, and an interception. We had Braden with 9 solos, 3 tackles for a loss, and a fumble recovery. McLean, 11 solos, tackle for loss. Caden Travis, 4 solos, 2 sacks, and 1 caused fumble. Poindexter, 8 solos, 4 assists, tackle for loss. The list goes on and on. Honestly, it looks like a really good defensive game, like you said, just the alignments. Mankey had 5 solos, tackle for loss, and a fumble recovery. So we also have the players of the game. We're going to talk about that for a little bit. Defensively, McLean, do you want to talk about him for a second? And
yeah, I don't remember what his stat line is, but he's been banged up. He's only playing about 50, maybe 60% of the snaps, and I believe he had 11 or 12 solos in the game, no missed tackles. In the fourth quarter, we were able to stop him a few times. I thought it was really him stepping up, and you talked about Jones. They're trying to throw him screens and just get him into space, and Tyree really handled him really well and was able to get some tackles for loss and things like that. Thought he has played, that amount of tackles you're not talking about a linebacker or somebody that's in the box. You're talking about an outside-the-box player that's having to play in space to have 11 or 12 tackles and 50% of the snaps. That's a really impressive game and no misses. Just played extremely well. It was really good to see. Really, really good players, just been battling injuries. So hopefully we're on the upside of everything and he's feeling better and he can continue going that direction.
And I know offensively we had Cameron Belcher. Coach Lewis, do you want to talk about him for this game?
Yeah, came out, played really well once again, like he does all the time. Really showed a leadership role, trying to get the ball moving and things. And we needed some first downs, moving like going into third and fourth quarter and such. Played really well. Can't ask more out of a guy. He did really well. Very, very good about catching the ball with his eyes, catching it with his hands, getting upfield, and really trying to have that ball to the sideline as well. So did all the small things right for him. Did a really good job.
I know for those two, I remember them being a senior and junior. Belcher, was he a freshman when I was a senior? Yeah, he was a freshman when I was a senior. So I remember him. I remember thinking he's one of the most athletic kids I've ever seen. Just get him in space, and he's just very naturally athletic, but he also puts the work in. So I'm happy to see him having a good year. McLean, I think he was in middle school. That'd be right. Whenever I was
he's a senior too. He just didn't play.
He is okay. Then that's what it was. But I knew he was really athletic as well because I've seen him play different sports as well. So happy to see them stepping up and hope they get on the upside of their injuries. I know special teams. We also had Miss Adri Berry as well. She played a great game as well, and she also, for those who don't know, plays soccer as well, playing 2 seasons. I think that just ended last night. I think that was her last night. And she's been playing great in soccer too, so I wanted to shout her out as well. You have anything to say about her? Or?
Yeah, just really clutch play. She's putting it through the uprights every time, unless there's just a lot of penetration. She had 1 block, but it was nothing to do with her fault. And just having the guts to go out there when it's tied 26-27 with the minute left in the game to tie it up, that's a lot of pressure on a freshman. Someone that's never kicked or did anything, that type of pressure, and maybe it played in her favor, honestly, not knowing how big of a deal it was. But I was sick over there watching her kick it. The plan was to go for 2, and we missed to take the lead, and we missed a line that backed us up, and it messed our 2-point play stuff up. So actually, it was a 17-yard field goal instead of the normal extra point too. But she put it right through like she always does, like it was nothing, and that was just a really big play.
And then for linemen, we had Brian Sassy. Didn't know if you want to talk about him.
Yeah, he just playing extremely well. Just he usually does, honestly. He had an injury after the game, so he may be out a little bit. But it just played extremely well. Held his own up there. We had a good game running the football. Good game in pass pro. Up front, I thought we played pretty well all night long. Offensively, issues just taking care of the ball. But besides that, I mean, I thought we played really well, and he was a big leader of us up front.
And he's been a pretty reliable part of that line for a little bit, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he started since he was a freshman. He's a junior now, so he seems like a fifth-year senior to us now because he's been playing so much. And, he's just really important to us. He's the one guy we got up there that's just naturally big and physical and can really punish people. And he does a good job with all the little things, too, and just really wants to be good and takes football really serious. So you can't ask much more of a lineman.
Well, talking about that, because I know you said he was injured, forgot to do this at the beginning. Well, let's get an injury update. Any injuries after the game or going into this week that you might rest for this week, or how's that looking?
Yeah, he'll be out for sure. We have a couple young guys who got banged up in JV. Let's see. Tyree's a little bit banged up, but Tyree, I mean, he's always just banged up. I mean, it's nothing against him. He's just has been battling an injury that's probably not going to go away. But he's been fighting through it and practicing. Jake Rich is a guy that'll play this week that's been battling a little bit something from a JV on Monday. But he'll be forced into a varsity role with Sassy being out. So, but he seems to be doing a lot better today in the second day of practice. So we look for him to play. And the only one that I think that'll be out would be Sassy.
Okay.
It's a varsity player.
Gotcha. Well, that wraps up talking about Murray. We just wanted to get a little post-game, talk about if you missed it, some stats, and so y'all could catch up on that. It was a great game, sounded like just two little misalignments, turnovers, and things of that nature. But now we're going to look ahead at Ohio County. I know coming into this week, Ohio County is winless. I don't know much about them, really. I know you said you really don't know much about them, but what are the things you do know, such as like a notable players and just some of the things they do?
Yeah, and it's not like disrespectful to them or anything that we don't know. It's just a weird game for us. Like it was just one of those games where we both needed a game. It's kind of we're not even in the same class. I believe they're 5A. We're not in the same region. We're just not in the same part of the state where you hear a whole lot about each other or know a whole lot. It just their common opponents aren't teams that we'll ever play normally. So it's just one of those kind of weird matchups. A team that we haven't played very much historically. They like to run the football. They run a lot of tight end sets, which is good for us, something we haven't seen a whole lot of. A lot of 21 personnel, meaning two backs and a tight end. Their main thing is to run the ball. It's kind of like I'd call it a multiple offense, like a gun wing tee mixed with some option stuff. So it's really good for us to play that type of stuff, I think, because it gives you a little look at everything. They'll run zone scheme, gap scheme at you. They'll run some option stuff at you. So you're going to see a little bit of everything in the run game and see how you match up against it. We had some blown option responsibility last week, so it's really good to get another chance to see if we can get those things fixed this week. And they'll throw the ball around a little bit too, but it's mostly play action, rollout type stuff that's set up by the run. So, it's definitely, they play really hard. I think they're big and physical up front. We're always the smallest team, so it's really nothing different, but they are big and physical up front.
So, looking at this week and for these practices that you've been having, it's fall break for them as well. What have been some of the key things y'all been focusing on, not only in this week, but I know we're getting closer to the postseason as well. I'll ask Coach Lewis first, because Coach Courtney's already been talking. So in terms of your receivers and inverts, what are some things that y'all been working on specifically this week?
Just the small things, really, details. For receivers today, we were working on releases and even working on one-on-one jump balls, kind of getting that ball from the defender some, because we've had some trouble with that in the past. So that's one of the biggest things we did. Inverts yesterday, we really just went base fundamentals, read steps, reading our tackle reads, and really just getting an idea of where that ball is going to be, depending on where the tackle, what they decide to do. So if they're pass proing or if they're stretch blocking, etc.
Just reacting to that.
Yeah, biggest thing was just details, honestly. Just because unfamiliar opponent, you kind of want to work on some things. So the biggest thing was really just fundamentals.
Gotcha. And as a team as a whole, what has been some of the focuses? I know we've been talking about some of the defense. What about offensively this week? What are we looking at? I know not trying to give the game plan out or anything, but what are some things you're looking to improve on and things that you're looking to do?
At this time of the year, like you feel like you're pretty good, like as far as running your stuff, like that you've done. So you're looking for little wrinkles to put in that may help you in district time or may give opponents something to think about. Things like that is one thing you're thinking about this time of the year. But like Coach said, the main thing we are focused on is fundamentals, because the game's just coming down to the smallest of things. Like, are we in our gap? Like, that's going to be the difference in winning or losing the game. We had all that trouble in KOR, so we started each practice just kicking rapid fire balls at the KOR team, just trying to get that fixed. So any mistakes that we saw on film that have really hurt us, obviously ball security, but a lot of the things, like I think, like the KOR stuff is just getting used to doing. It's something we haven't practiced, and the ball, bounces funny, and you only do it one time a week. So we really put an emphasis on that as coaches, and just looking at anything that we possibly did bad at this point, because like I said, your stuff's in. Mm-hmm. Everyone knows the offense and defense at this point. You're just going to have small little wrinkles, for each week. But the main thing is fixing those small mistakes, like Coach Lewis said, and really focusing on the details of being perfect at it.
All right, well, I think that about wraps up for Ohio County. Like I said, there's not much to talk about. They're going to do what they can do to get better and focus on this week. I will say it's a home game, correct?
Yeah, it's home.
And this is the first home game in like a month, it seems like.
Yeah, we were 4 home and then 4 away. So.
Yeah, so I think it's really important to get out there and come out Friday night. I know I'll be there as well. Go support your Rockets, and especially as we get closer to playoff time, see how they play. And speaking of playoffs, so what is the playoff picture looking at all? Do you have any kind of idea about that? Or I'm not sure how it works. I think it changed right after I graduated, so I wasn't really exactly sure.
Yeah. Well, it's cross district, so we're lined up with Ocath, Fort Campbell, Todd County, and Edmondson. So we're going to play one of those 4 teams in the first round. But everybody's just played one district game at this point. Yeah, so there's a long way to go. But you're going to play that, and then after the first 2 rounds, you're going to go to RPI. So, okay. But the first 2, I mean, honestly, for us and anybody in our district, you got to worry about your district and cross district, because getting through the first 2 rounds, when you got teams like Ocath, Mayfield, Murray, that's going to be, probably the tallest task in the state. That's the toughest part of it, is getting out of those first 2 rounds. And then, obviously, later on, you'll see the Beechwoods and Lexington Christians, and whoever comes out of these 2 districts. But that's a long way away. You just really got to focus on that cross district in your district.
Well, I know for the rest of the schedule after this week, not looking too far ahead, but just giving you all an idea, we have Mayfield at home, then we're at Caldwell, correct? Right. And then Callaway at home, and then playoff play starts. Yep. Okay. Well, that's about all I have for this week. It's been a shorter show, but I just want to get these guys on, introduce Coach Lewis, kind of give you all an idea. Also, one last question for Coach Courtney, because I was just wondering this too, because I had him as a head coach for 1 year, and I love the way he was a head coach. But how have you evolved as a head coach? What are some things you do different? Just kind of going. What year is this for you as a head coach?
I don't even know.
It'd be 1,
3 or 4.
4, I think. This is 4th year, I think.
I don't know. Just everything just gets a little bit easier. At first year, you're just stressed out about so much different things that you don't know that comes with the job. That's one thing about being a head coach that is different. Like, my task as far as football is not really that much different. When Coach Thompson was here, I was a defensive coordinator. I made the defensive practice schedule. I had full reins to do whatever I wanted. And that's kind of how it is now. And then Coach Berry's just the opposite. He has the same, responsibility offensively. So the football stuff hasn't changed that much. The rules that Coach Starnes had in place pretty much were there with Coach Thompson. They're pretty much still there with me. It's kind of that foundation's already been laid of what the expectation is for Rocket football. So the hardest things for me early on were like making sure everything was ordered. Like, here, we're painting the field before this. We got to get that stuff taken care of. It's just all the little things. The Little League program, the flag program, the middle school program. They don't have enough kids to play. What are we going to do? All that type stuff, especially in the first year, really was hard to manage that with football and making sure that the high school team and varsity team was ready to go and just be as prepared and as detail-oriented as I wanted to be. So, hopefully, I don't know that a whole lot has changed. Just got a little bit easier, a little bit less stressful. It's not going to be the end of the world if I forget something or miss something throughout the program. It's so just less stressful, I would say. I don't know if the players feel that or not, but I feel way less stressed out than I did in the beginning.
Gotcha. So whenever you're the head coach of like the Crittenden County varsity football team, you're also the head coach or over everything else, the junior pro, the flag football team, you're pretty much in control of all of that too. Right,
that's the thing. It's just a big job, it's spread out. And we got great people now, and that was the thing too. Like, middle school was kind of in the beginning. Like, just kind of had a lot of pieces that we didn't know. We didn't have middle school or little league staff. We got a great little league staff, a great middle school staff now. Just kind of all the pieces have came together. It makes it a lot easier. Serena obviously plays a huge part, and from getting flag and little league and everything else set up and managing all that, she's like really football operations really for us. So that's really big for us. But yeah, it's just a big, wide variety of a job.
Right, Joe. Well, I appreciate, it's not we, Chris isn't here, but I appreciate these guys coming out. Hope to see y'all here Friday night against Ohio County. Come here. It's the first home game in like a month, so make sure to come by and watch us play. And want to thank you all for watching and thank you all for coming. So thank you.
Hey, one more thing. Tickets will be on GoFan, and it's Young Rocket night too. So make sure all you Young Rockets with the flag and Little League guys that we were talking about. And we'll also be wearing our pink stuff. I don't know if it's a pink out for the crowd. I believe it is though. But it is October though, so we'll recognize that as well.
Gotcha. All right. Well, thank y'all. Have a good week.